I am ready to talk about Shauna the mom. We're going to be talking about Max's birthday. Max turned 6. Now, this episode is so different than what we saw last year because last year was really more about the McAllisters drama with Barb. And this year, we're actually seeing more of Ty and Julie drama and less about the McAllisters, which was such a relief. Like, I was so thankful to not see Barb at all. Although I was like kind of worried that she was going to bust in. I was really thankful for that. By the way, hey, my name is Shauna A. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I work with innovative service-driven clinicians to help them build sustainable private practices beyond the couch. I love doing this commentary, especially on this particular skit, Shauna the Mom. That's what we're going to be talking about today. You may have seen my post before on a completely different app, but now I'm expanding out and bringing it elsewhere. So in this episode, it is Max's birthday. We see that Max is having a dance party for his birthday, which is so cute. And we learn some new details that we didn't quite have before. So some of the details that we learn is that Max goes to the same dance school that Jen goes to. And before I had like an idea that they all must seem to live pretty close. Barb just kind of was popping up whenever she felt like it. I had not realized that they lived in John's and Jen's hometown. So that kind of goes back to that episode where Max starts kindergarten and Barb was like, I know what school they're zoned for. They went to the same school districts. They live, this is their community in which they live, which also makes more sense as to why John was like, we've got to go, right? We've been here all of their lives. We're never going to escape this woman. She understands way too much because she's been so invested in it that it makes sense that she's just gonna pop up. And we see a completely different party planning experience than last year. And so we get a much more relaxed Shauna. They are running through their list together. Even Mama D is in on the list as far as the cupcakes are concerned. And we also get to see John's engagement with Max, which is also really cool. I think this was a great setup to the contrast of how Julie and Ty run their household. They are clearly not on the same page. It is imbalanced at this point in time. To me, it almost seems like Ty doesn't really care too much that the division of labor is uneven. He wants to jump in and be that parent and be very, very present. It seems as though Julie is kind of upset that he would even consider making a division between the labor. Like, I think in Julie's mind, like, can't we just offset that to somebody else and you and I be this power couple and our kids be a part of the equation, but also us have assistance in raising them, right? Like, we would have nannies, or we would have like the kids go to childcare so that you could work during the day, so that we could be this power couple. We could be excellent. I don't even think Julie really wanted to be a mom. I think that she went along with this because this is what Ty was wanting. And that I think that Ty convinced her that you could do both. You can be this power executive and we can have a family. And this picture that we have of being this power couple would not make sense without children. So she engaged in that. And it seems as though Ty is switching things up on her. It seems that Ty no longer wants the power executive role, that Ty would prefer to do something else, and she don't like that. I think Julie's feelings are valid here. Do I like how she's gone about it? No. But you know what? I say this all the time. Your feelings are your feelings. The experience of anger, frustration, upset that you have as something is unfolding, as you're discovering stuff, is valid. How we act about it may not be. I don't think it was appropriate that she do that Max's birthday party. I don't think it was appropriate that she uses Shauna as a pawn. And I will talk more about Julie and Shauna in a moment. But what I do see is that she feels betrayed. She feels lied to and tricked so that Ty could have what he wants. And now he's changing things up and going against what they always agreed on. I think the big thing here is that Ty and Julie were super young when they got together. They were 18 years old, and they might have had a very different outlook on children as 18-year-olds. I don't think that that outlook on children ever really changed for Julie, but how they went about things did change. Now, when Julie was pregnant, when she told Shauna that she didn't like everything about her, I understand this now to mean that Julie does not like what Shauna represents. Shauna represents the stay-at-home mom who has completely engulfed herself in child rearing. And I think Julie really misreads Shauna. She doesn't see who Shauna is outside of her motherhood. And the thing that's really most interesting is she can have conversations with Christine, she can have conversations with John, and she can have those conversations more easily because she respects them. John is a highly successful engineer. Christine was a highly successful marketing person, and she respects them because they get to be engulfed in their career. She doesn't respect Shauna because Shauna isn't engulfed in a career. I think that Julie has completely written off Shauna because she looks down on her. And we really see this come to light in this episode. I think that Julie feels betrayed and tricked by Ty, and I feel like Ty really likes being a parent, and there isn't anything wrong with that. I think that for him, while they were having these conversations, instead of attempting to convince her to do something that she clearly wasn't into, it probably would have been a better idea to talk about whether or not they were the right people to create the family that they've created together, which is an incredibly difficult conversation, but one worth having. These are my thoughts for the moment on the Shawnaverse. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch up with y'all later.